Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. Clearly the Labor Party doesn't want to hear the truth about their own policies, Mr Speaker, and their own approaches. Now, I would like to thank the member for Higgins for her question, acknowledge her experience as a paediatrician, as a world-leading medical researcher, and as someone who supports small business across our electorate. More than 25,000 small businesses in the electorate of Higgins are eligible for the expanded instant asset write-off, like a local snap printing business that was able to buy a new printer, Mr Speaker, and support their 4 employees with our new business investment incentives that we've announced in recent budgets. Now, Mr Speaker, Australia has encountered the biggest economic shock since the Great Depression with COVID-19. We saw some forecasts last year that the unemployment rate could reach as high as 15%. That's more than 2 million Australians who are unemployed. And we know that the experience of previous recessions in the 1980s and the 1990s was a scarring of the labour market, where it took between 8 and 10 years to get the unemployment rate back to where it was before those recessions. Well, this time round, the experience of the Australian labour market and the experience of the Australian economy has been very different. Mr Speaker, it took just over a year to get the unemployment rate back to where we were. And today the unemployment rate at 5.2% is lower than when we came to government. And we've seen today payroll jobs up, and we've seen across every state and territory in the Commonwealth, jobs are now higher than when we were going into the pandemic. And one of the reasons is because of our policies to drive down taxes for families by legislating to abolish a whole tax bracket, the 37 cents in the dollar tax bracket, and also putting in place a small business tax cut down to 25%, which ensures that small business taxes are now their lowest in 50 years. And this is helping to create jobs. Now, I'm asked, are there any alternative approaches? Well, we know that those opposite at the last election took $387 billion of higher taxes. Now, I know they're running around saying that their policies won't be identical to the last election, but I was surprised, maybe not so surprised, to read on the front page of The Australian on the September the 29th, the headline, and I read, "Jim Chalmers proposes Bill Shorten-era family trust tax hit," Mr Speaker. A $27 billion hit on family businesses. They cry cockerel tears for small business. There's only one side of this House that supports the small business, and that's the Liberals and Nationals in this coalition.